Hello, Year 5, and welcome to your first maths lesson in Lockdown 2.0. Our new topic this half term is multiplication and division. You will remember that we did cover a little bit of that earlier on in autumn term, where we looked at multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. And we also looked at squaring and cubing numbers, which you will keep seeing in the morning fluency. However, this time we're going to look at more formal methods of multiplication and division. Today we are starting off by looking specifically at multiplying two-digit numbers by one-digit numbers. Some of you will be quite adept with this method already. Some of you might really need the practice. This is a chance to recap on things that you will have missed out on some of the practicing chances in year 4 with the lockdown that happened then. So we're going to show you 3 different methods using different representations. And then for your activity at the end, you will need to use at least 2 of them. Some of you who are stretching yourselves will try to use all 3 to represent your answers. So let's have a look and see what we're doing. So as I said, our learning intention is to multiply. To be successful in this, we need to be able to lay things out using the column method. Multiply the ones by the 1 first, and then the tens by the 1. And if that sounds confusing, when we come onto it, it will make a lot more sense. So let's have a look at some of the different vocabulary that we might associate with multiplying. So multiplying means adding equal groups, and there's lots of ways that you will see that. But these are some of the most common ways. So you might see lots of, repeated addition, product of, groups of, timesing, or multiples. And throughout these slides, I'm going to try to make sure that I use as many different versions of that as possible. So our first example is going to be for 21 times 6. Now, there's lots of different ways that we can think of 21 times 6. We can think of it as 21 lots of 6, 21 plus 21 plus 21 plus 21 plus 21 plus 21. The product of 21 and 6, the sixth multiple of 21, 21 groups of 6, 21 times 6, or 21 multiplied by 6. And multiplication is commutative as well, which means that 21 times 6 is the same as 6 times 21. So all of those would work the other way around too. So the first one we're going to look at is the classic column method of multiplication. You can see as we lay it out in the same way that we lay out column method of addition, but instead of an add sign, we've got a multiply sign. We've got the ones in the same column. 21's got 1, 1. 6 has got 6 ones. 21's got 2 tens. 6 doesn't have any tens, so we can put the multiply symbol in there. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to multiply the ones by the ones. So one lot of 6 ones is the same as 6. And next, what we do, as we would normally go down the column, we're going to multiply the tens by that 6, by the ones column. So 2 tens times 6. Now, if I know that 6 times 2 is 12, then I know that 6 times 2 tens must be 12 tens, which is the same as 120. I can put 12 in there, but I know that that's the same as 102 tens, which is 120, which tells me that 21 multiplied by 6 is 126. So the product of 21 and 6 is 126. That's the classic method of column multiplication. Now, there's another way that we can do that, and that uses partitioning. So with 21, I can partition 21 into 2 tens and 1 1. And when I lay that out, I can work it out in 2 different ways. So first of all, I can do 1 times 6, just like I did before. And I know that 1 times 6 is 6. And then underneath that, I can do 20 times 6. I know, again, if 2 times 6 is 12, then 2 tens times 6 must be 12 tens, which is the same as 120. So I've got 1 times 6 and I've got 20 times 6. Now I need to add those together. 6 add 0 is 6. 0 add 2 is 2, 0 add 1 is 1, which gives me 126 again. I like this method because you can visualize and see it. It's very, very similar because what you'll find is that whenever you're multiplying by a multiple of 10, you will always have a 0 here. So that part of our sum is always going to be nice and easy. But it's quite a good visual way of seeing it. Finally, we can see the visual representation of it. So here I've got 21 times 6 again, and I've got my tens and ones grid there. Here I've put a physical representation of 21, where I've got 2 10s and 1 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that I've got 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lots of 21. And what I can do is I can then see how many I've got in the ones column, see how many I've got in the tens column. So I've got 6 in the ones column. Now I've got 12 in the tens column. I know from our previous work on place value that 10 tens is the same as 100. So I can take 10 tens and exchange them for 100, which leaves me with 2 tens and 100. So all three of those responses, all three of those methods give me the same answer of 126. So 6 lots of 21 is 126. Let's have a look at another example. So I've added 36 times 4. Again, there are lots and lots of different ways that I can say that sum and represent that sum. And here are some of them. And again, it's commutative, so either way round would work. So I'm going to do the column method first. I have to do the ones multiplied by the ones first. 6 lots of 4 ones is 24. Now 24, 20 is the same as 2 tens. So just like we do in adding, I need to move it across so that I've got it exchanged, ready to add on at the end. And that's really important, that with these extra ones, we add it on, we don't multiply them. So for my next part, I need to do 3 lots of 4, because 3 tens times 4 will give me that answer. 3 times 4 is 12, so I know 3 tens times 4 is 12 tens, which is 120 again. But then I need to add my 2 tens that I exchanged. So 12 plus 2 is 14, so I need to add 14 in there, which gives me my answer of 144. So the product of 36 and 4 is 144. Again, let's look at the partitioning method. I can partition 36 into 3 tens and 6 ones. 3 tens and 6 ones. Sorry, I got muddled there with 34. So first time, 6 times 4 is 24. So I've got that as my first row. Now I know that 3 times 4 is 12. So I must also know that 30 times 4 is 120, which comes in here. Just as I did with the last one, I need to add them together. I know that 4 plus 0 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4, 1 plus nothing is 1. So again, that gives me the answer 144. And let's look at our final way of the physical representation of it. So I'm going to make 36 first of all. I needed to make the ones column slightly bigger for that, but you can see I've got 3 tens and 6 ones, and I need to do that 4 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lots of 36. Now I need to add them up. I'm going to look for my groups of 10 ones first of all, because I know 10 ones can be exchanged for 1 10. So I've got 24 ones altogether. So I'm going to take 20 of those ones and change them for 2 tens. It leaves me with 4 ones. And I've added 2 tens to the tens column. Now I need to add up the tens. So I've got 14 tens altogether, including the 2 that I exchanged. So I'm going to take 10 of those tens because they are the same as 100. I've got 4 tens left over and 100. So my final answer is 144. Using at least 2 of those methods, which I've simplified there on the screen for you, can you have a go at answering these questions? Now, I've put a few different challenges on here. The first set of questions is arithmetic questions. The second set of questions is word problems. And finally, there's a Be the Teacher one where you need to spot the mistakes and explain what people have done. If you feel that you need any scaffolds for this, please email me, because I've got all of this scaffolded if you're not sure with any of those processes. And sometimes a scaffold can be easy, can make it easier. Or go back and watch over the video once you've got the questions written down and you can remind yourself of the process that I went through. So here are your arithmetic questions. If you want to have a go at those, pause the video now. Here's the first 3 word problems, so pause the video now for these. And your next 3 word problems, so again, pause the video now for these ones. And finally, your Be the Teacher. Here are your 3 incorrect calculations. Can you correct them? On the next 3 slides, I've got your answers. So for the arithmetic questions, and if you're not sure how any of these answers were got, please email me and I will send you back exactly what it should look like as well. Here are your answers for the first batch of the word problems and the second batch of the word problems. And then finally, here are your answers for the Be the Teacher. Again, have a go at representing that in as many different ways as you can. If you have any questions or if you want a scaffold, please do email me. Even if you found 2 of those methods easy and one of the methods you're confused by, ask me for the scaffolds and I can send them over so that you've got that really deep understanding of what you're doing. We'll be gradually building up to using that method with different types of sums and with larger numbers. So it's really important that you're really confident using that method. All right, thank you guys.